So I am Tracy Ozerin, and I am the founder and current executive director of Urban Gleaners. I started Urban Gleaners 9 years ago after hearing a program on NPR about a woman who suddenly was faced with the reality that there was a lot of food going to waste and a lot of hungry people. And it was one of those moments where you pull over on the side of the road and you think, I could do that, I could do something. I love to cook, I love food, and the thought of people not having food and being hungry is an unhappy thought. And I started going around and talking to primarily restaurants at that time and asking, what do you do with your food? And everyone said, well, we don't know, we really hadn't thought about it. We throw it away.
Right.
So I said, well, could we try to make this work? And I had a few people who said, we can do that. Let's try to figure it out. We started originally, our very first pickup was at Blue Hour Restaurant, which is a very high-end restaurant up the street from us. And I went and picked up 3 Tupperware containers. As I recall, one had fava bean puree and one had a mushroom something.
Right.
And I thought, well, okay, it's a start. Right. And I took that food to the Blanchet House.
Okay.
They have been doing 3 meals a day for 62 years down in Old Town. They're an amazing organization, and there was an amazing man there at the time who said, sure, let's see what we can make of this. And that's how it started, with those 3 Tupperware containers. I was making granola one morning and my husband said, what's going on? And I said, I don't know, it's granola. I never really ate it before, but now I live in Portland and it seems kind of a Portlandy thing.
Right.
So he said, well, can't you find one that you like to buy? And I said, well, I couldn't. So I had to make my own. And I had a small catering business in Los Angeles, where I'm from, and I thought, well, maybe I could sell something. So I took it around and people liked it, and it was my husband's idea. He said, well, why don't you, if you're going to do this food thing, maybe you could sell the granola and the profits could go to help fund Urban Gleaners.
Nice.
And so that's how that started, and it is now sold at all New Seasons, Whole Foods, Zupans, restaurants, a couple other independent stores. All the profits go to fund Urban Gleaners. So we managed to support about 1/3 of our overhead through the granola. Last year we rescued 550,000 pounds of food. And we're a very small organization. There are 4 of us who do this. We have 2 vans, we have a couple of drivers, we have a few paid employees. We have about 40 volunteers who are really somewhat the core of what we do. We fill the gap between what the food bank does and what nobody's doing. We started with agencies that feed the hungry. I didn't know how to do that, and I thought, I'm not going to do what I don't know how to do. And we are able to tailor the food that we rescue to the organizations. So the people who have kitchens and can cook get raw ingredients. The people like Rosehaven, who have women who come in and need to take a shower and need to make a phone call and get some counseling, they get packaged foods and yogurts and foods that they can feed their children. And we want people to just be aware of this. I mean, this is something that people are doing now all over the country, food recovery. It's out there, and it is a trend that is not going to go away and shouldn't go away. Please don't throw away your food.
Right.
We need this food.
Right.
We have millions of people in this country who are hungry, and 40% of the food in this country gets thrown away. About 4 years ago, we had too much bread that was being donated. None of the shelters would take it anymore. And we heard about the fact that children in a lot of schools in Portland are going hungry at home. They are able to get the government subsidized breakfast and lunch, but they have nothing to eat at home. So we started with one school in Southeast Portland with an amazing principal who said, this would be amazing for my students. And once we got that up and running at her school, she started calling and saying, oh, the principal at this school called and they want food too. And we try to address issues of health, try to bring kids good healthy food that their families can have in their homes. So the Food to Schools program now delivers 800 pounds of food weekly to 17 schools. Our next project is going to be a mobile market. We want to be able to access these children and their families where they live. Not all families can come to the pantries that are run at the schools. So we want to be able to fill our vans and take this food out to these neighborhoods. We've run it as a pilot project for the last year, and it's very successful. People are thrilled to have the food, and we estimate that we're accessing about 3,200 individuals through our Food to Schools program. We're moving to a space that's going to give us 4 times the space that we have here. We've been working out of 900 square feet for 9 years, and we want to pick up more food and take it to more people. And one of the big areas of need that we will have when we move is for people to come in a morning a week or a morning a month and help us repackage all of this food that is coming in. Donations to Urban Gleaners are incredibly meaningful because we are so small, and we managed to do this work with like 4 people. People look at our budget sometimes and say, oh no, that's not possible. You couldn't possibly do what you're doing on that budget. But there's no frills, as you can see. 3-point oil, believe it or not. So the donations go directly to serving the people that we serve. And so I think people feel good about that when they see what we're doing.